Mic check. Hold mics like ponytails tight and bobble ops. Stop, stick around, come through and dig the sound of the fly brown 6060 cycle who throws hits around. Welcome to another episode of Wine Down with Kev. Thank you so much, everybody that's tuned into the live stream. Thank you, everybody that's subscribing, watching from here, there, and everywhere. I'm excited. Tag a friend, tell a friend, because we have an incredible show lined up for you today. We have not one, but two of the most dynamic people in the real estate industry in the New York City, Long Island metro area. We have two of Douglas Elliman's finest. We have Ellie Award winners, consistently top 25. We have my friends. We have some major networkers in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Throw it in emojis. Throw it in the comments. Help me to give a warm Wine Down with Kev. Welcome to my left, Eystone Perez and Yvette Clark Watkins. Let's go! Yeah. We are in here with my friends that I've known for over 5 years now. So that officially makes them like family. So let's do this. The real estate is easy for us to dive into, but my first job as a podcaster is to help people get to know you, then like you, then do business with you. So I want to go ladies first. Tell the people a little bit about yourself personally. I know the beginning of it. I know you're a wife first of over 20 plus years. I know you're a mom of two beautiful twins that have just started college, but take it from there and tell people something that I don't know.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Yvette Watkins. I am with Douglas Elliman Real Estate a little over 11 years. I'm an associate broker. I believe in giving back into what is poured into me. So I'm also the director, a board member, of the Long Island Board of Realtors, as well as next year I will be the secretary treasurer for the Long Island Board of Realtors. So I believe in, again, service. So with all of the things that you keep hearing in the news about real estate, it's helpful to be a part of forming everything and also giving back in the community.
I love it. And I see you show up, and I see you in other places in the community that we're going to dig into as well. Ace in the place. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for having us, number one. Of course. It's definitely a long time coming, so it's good. I'm glad to be here. Happy to be here, right? Well, my name is Eystone Perez. A lot of people know me as Ace. I've been in the business of real estate for about 10 years. Been with Elliman the entire time as well. I'm very active with our Realtor Association, so I'm on the Long Island Board of Directors for LIBOR. I'm also a committee member for multiple committees, Queens Government Affairs Committee, the Young Professionals Network. Actually, I was just the chair this year for Young Professionals Network. We're very active in the community. We've got our Empower campaign, which is pretty much something that we do to give back to the community. Yes. Everything from kids to adults, seniors, and we try to just really bring value to the people that we serve beyond just real estate, and giving them education, giving them a platform, giving them recognition, giving them the opportunity. So that's just a little bit about me.
I love it. I see you everywhere. Our connection is from Queens. That's my insurance base, your real estate base. Ace, I see you everywhere. I'm out on Long Island. I see you at all of the events. You're on Real Estate and Chill. You're networking. One end to to another. But I'm going to stay in the backstory before we come forward into real estate. You said 10 years in the business. What did you do before? And how'd you get into real estate?
Well, right before, I did a lot of things before real estate, but right before real estate, I was in construction, actually. And I was doing that for maybe about 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and did projects in downtown Brooklyn.
Okay.
High-rise projects. I was a project supervisor when I left.
Okay.
And it's a crazy story how I got into the business full time.
Let's hear it. That's what we're here for. Yeah. We're here for the craziness. Anybody want to hear crazy? Put crazy in the comments right now.
Yeah.
Let's hear the craziness.
Well, so basically I was part time in the business when I first got started, and I was meeting with Yvette, and we were, she was showing me the ropes. And one night I was coming from the office. It was like 11:30 at night. I'm on the Grand Central Parkway, and I get hit by a drunk driver.
Whoa.
Yeah, and at the time I was super upset because I'm a car guy, so
right.
my car was totaled.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then I remember being on the phone with Yvette, and she's like, "Are you okay though?"
Most importantly, that's an insurance question. That's question number 101.
Right?
Are you okay? We can fix cars, but we can't fix people. Were you okay?
No, actually, I wasn't. I ended up going through physical therapy for like 2 years, but in the process, I had a decision to make, which was, do I go back to work,
okay,
or do I take this opportunity? Or this moment of challenge and treat it as an opportunity.
Wow.
So that's, after multiple conversations with Yvette and myself, I just decided, you know what, this is it. Let me take this risk. And it paid off big time.
Ace, I appreciate you sharing that story. Somebody that's watching this live stream, somebody that's listening to this podcast later, they're going through that same decision matrix. They're in between millions, I like to call it. I'm never broke, Yvette. I ran through what I had, or I'm on my way to where I'm going, but I'm never broke. But somebody's listening to this, and they're in between millions as well, and they're trying to decide. We're recording this at the end of 2024. People are thinking about their 2025 goals. Am I going to keep on keeping on at this job that's not treating me well, right, or am I going to take that leap of faith into my future? So with that pivot point, we started off lying about your backstory. So take me back to Manhattan, to downtown Manhattan. You're directing, finance. Tell me your backstory before you got into real estate and what your pivot point was.
Prior to real estate, I was the director of finance at University Optometric Center. I had employees as well as interns and was doing about 9-10-hour days. Became pregnant with my twins, was on bed rest, and my mother said, "You really should think about real estate."
Yes.
And I said no. Because isn't that what daughters do, right? So after thinking about it for a while, I realized why she was connecting those dots. From the time I was 2 years old until she retired, she worked for a real estate attorney.
Okay.
And it was the largest landlord-tenant real estate company in the city. Wow. So when I was 6 years old, I used to type dispossessed notices.
Wow.
Didn't know what they
That's
were.
Why she's
but,
like this now.
Yeah.
All right, wait, we got to get a timeout right there. Parents, grandparents, start the kids early. Keep going. I got something to jump on the story. 6 years old, you dispossessed notice.
Dispossessed. Didn't know what they were, but I was just typing away, of course, not telling my age at all. But it was not on a computer. It was on an IBM Selectric with the ball and sensor.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Getting it done.
Yep. Got it done. But on lunch breaks, the attorneys would be in the break room chatting with me.
Right.
So, I think some of it is through osmosis. You pick things up,
right,
wherever you are. So plant those seeds in your kids, to your
early
point, right? Early.
Right.
And so once I came into real estate, I just took all of the foundation that I had from my previous jobs and used it in real estate to create a procedure. So then when I met Eystone, that car accident, I was like, maybe this might work for us because
yes,
I see something. And the crazy part was, while he was working full time, there was, that commercial where the mother is reading a magazine?
Yes.
And the son is a spy and he's jumping off of planes and everything? That was us. I would be in a Panera having breakfast. Ace would be holding a jackhammer, putting a hole in the ceiling. And I'm asking him the most fundamental real estate questions and giving him updates about attorney calls.
Wow.
Yeah. We were able to knock it out. Yeah.
All right. So Yvette, there's some details in that story that I gotta dig into. It's not easy working corporate, right? having a very nice fixed salary.
Sir.
You know, you're in Midtown. They pay to go Midtown. Where are you commuting from? Where are you living at the time? Are you in Queens?
Actually, I lived in Harlem.
You live in Harlem. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're coming from uptown, downtown.
Yep. So I was in Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill. Okay.
Yeah.
Sugar Hill Records, Sugar Hill. Do your research, look it up. I can't tell y'all everything. But that's where we live. That's where you live in Harlem if you have the bag.
Yeah.
Very famous, coming from the Harlem Renaissance. It's a certain way. So Mama had seen a couple of things.
Yes.
She had seen who stayed in Sugar Hill and did well. She seen who left, and she knew baby girl had what it took to sell real estate. So for you, when you're corporate, and my corporate people out there, I did 20 years in corporate. Corporate is comfortable. However, all progress happens outside your comfort zone. So
right.
Tell me the struggle side of leaving your comfort zone and getting uncomfortable, going from solid base pay and benefits to real estate.
This would be the part of the story where Ace always says, I'm not normal.
Okay.
Right. So many agents, when they first start in real estate, obviously you have to get out of that mindset of having a 9-to-5, right? I would say you become a hunter-gatherer, right? So if you don't create your business to capture it, to feed off of it, you're starving, right? So like you said, that million is further away than, right, you're just in between. So for me, it was trying to figure out how to use my network to create my net worth, right?
Oh, say that.
So thank you. But, you know, so what I started doing was trying to figure out how could I establish myself. And a part of that was the give back. But then also at that time, we were able to make cold calls. So I would come into the office every day for 2 weeks. 85 calls was my minimum every day. And I got my first 4 listings after 2 weeks. And in real estate, they always say, once you have your first open house, either you're going to make it or break it. So the joke is, in most real estate offices, agents don't speak to you until they think you're going to stick around.
Okay.
Right. So about 4 weeks in is when I started chatting with other agents in the office because they saw me producing already. And my business just grew from there. And I will say most of the agents in our office, they fed into me. So I, learned what not to do, the things to do, the things to enhance. But the beauty between corporate and self-employed, I don't have to bite my tongue anymore.
Ooh,
So,
you don't have to be politically correct.
we still have to be a little politically
Yes,
correct,
we do.
right?
Yes, we do.
But if someone says something that rubs me the wrong way, I can kind of let them know. Where before I might have had to take that home and have a conversation with my husband. Do you know what they said?
Yes.
But now it's, let me tell you what I said or what I did, And the other thing is, I guess we say almost the act of revolution is ensuring that our buyers and sellers are getting the equity that they should be getting out of their real estate process, which when my husband and I purchased our home, I wasn't in real estate. And I can tell definitely what was going on for us was not ever at the forefront of the professionals we were working with. So those were the things that I wanted to bring into the business.
And those are the driving behaviors that make you want to give back to the community, especially the information. Ace, how often do you find that like giving the information to the people and educating and informing people is so important?
I mean, it's an everyday thing, right? I mean, a lot of times people they have the information already. They go on Google, they're getting conflicting information, and we're just kind of going in there and saying, hey, listen, this is not true and this is true, and let me tell you why. Okay. And a lot of times the best way to do it is through stories. Right, people love a story.
1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me an example of a story. I'm gonna pick on this example, and now I know why. Since you have a background in construction, you put up a video not too long ago of what happens behind the scenes. You're showing a house, and I guess you're getting ready for the showing, and the blinds fall down.
That was me.
My bad.
Yeah, I mean, listen, stuff like that was really just normal stuff. That's nothing, crazy. But, it's just to try to show people, look, we're real people. We deal with real things. When you take your real estate exam, they don't talk to you about a lot of things you're going to be doing when you actually get licensed.
At all.
Yeah. So it's a crash course for a lot of people. And I'm lucky because I had a mentor sitting right next to me.
Yes.
And I was also fortunate enough to be able to earn the opportunity to be a mentee. Yes. Because like Yvette said, people don't want to show you the business unless they know that it's worth showing you the business and that you're going to be around. Right. So that in itself is a story.
Yes.
You know, if you're willing to listen, there's a saying that when the student is ready, the teacher arrives.
Yes.
And I really believe that.
No, and you're living proof. So, Yvette, one thing I love about you is your leadership and knowing your corporate background. We probably met, introduced through a mutual friend, Monica Williams.
Yes.
Right away, you invited me to your network. You introduced me to your team. 5 years later, you have the same team, and you guys are working together well.
Yeah.
When the word on the street is that there's high turnover in real estate, what is the key in your leadership that you've kept your team together?
I kept my team small, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. To get where I am, where I have Eystone and Steven.
Yes.
And Steven is our part-time employee.
Yes.
He works full-time actually for JP Morgan Chase at this time.
What up, Steve?
Yes.
Steven.
What up, Steve? Steve loves cars. I see what Steve does. I love it.
Steven loves all the things, right? So, for example, Steven has so much energy that one weekend we were doing an open house. He rode his bike to Bear Mountain from St. Albans, Queens, and back, went home, took a shower, got dressed, and came to our open house in Brooklyn.
So people that don't know the New York area, that's a light 2-hour bike ride. That's riding through the mountains. That's over about 2 or 3 bridges. But you may have a small team, but you have a dynamic team. You've chosen the right people.
Yes.
You've chosen the right people. How many people want to be a part of your team? How do you identify the aces and the Stevens that can stick with you, that's worth your time mentoring? Because you mentioned mentorship and mentee. Sometimes when you look to mentor someone, you know right away, like,
this isn't going to work.
Okay.
Yeah. Or other times it's like, oh, we're about to have some fun.
Yes.
Yeah. When I met Eystone, it was, we're going to have some fun. But it was interesting in the beginning. Right?
Okay.
So Eystone's, our manager in our office advised him to attend one of my open houses. She didn't tell me he was coming to my open house until 2 minutes before he showed up at my door. So in the car that he had in the accident was an Audi.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, maybe we have something.
Okay.
And he walked in, and obviously he didn't know what was going on. I had 3 agents with me and a mortgage broker. And we're all checking him out, trying to figure out, why is he even here? What's going on?
Right.
But so I told him, I said, the next buyers that walk in, you're going to show them the house.
Wow.
And he
Never
didn't-
showed a buyer a house before.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I figured, let's see, first off, if he's going to do it or not.
Right.
And if he wings it, how does that look? And he actually did a halfway decent job.
They didn't buy the house, though.
They didn't buy it.
They did
But
not.
you showed it.
Yes.
You embraced the no and you showed it.
Yeah.
How did you manage those? How did you manage those nerves in that moment? Where do I start? How'd that conversation flow?
I mean, well, to be honest with you, when you asked me earlier what I did before real estate, I told you what I did right before real estate.
Okay.
So before that, though, I have other experiences, sales,
Okay.
Public speaking a little bit. So,
Okay.
you know, for me, I've long since broke past the whole nervousness of speaking to people that I don't know.
Okay. Nice.
So yeah, it was when she said speak to them, I was like, you got no idea who you talking to.
This is what I do.
I'm active. Let's do this.
Oh my God. So you just started kicking it?
Yeah, I just went back to basics on what I know to
Okay.
be true. You
Okay.
know, how to build rapport with somebody. You want to relate to them, figure out what they want, what their motivation is. It's less about selling the house and more about selling yourself and selling the opportunity for them. So I think me knowing that already, when she said, hey, listen, take them through the house, I was like, okay, let's do it.
Let's dance.
I didn't know at the time, though, that, you know, don't focus so much on selling the house.
As yourself.
Yeah, focus more on connecting with them.
Yeah.
And that's what the more I learned that, the more my business took off.
So Ace, I did my research team. We looked at your bio, IG, Facebook.
Okay.
2 things that jumped out. Let's see if it's real. Let's see if you're fronting on the gram.
Never that.
You mentioned 2 of my favorite books. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and How to Win Friends and Influence People. What do those books mean to you?
Those books were books that were recommended to me when I first got exposed to sales and working for commission and, you know, being your own boss. So it means a lot because those lessons I are like ingrained in my brain. And what I've noticed over time is that a lot of the books, they're just recreations of the same information, repackaged by the different person, different title, but it's the same content, it's the same info recycled. So, you know, those books are original classics, if you will. So for me, you know, another book is the 21 Indispensable Qualities of Leadership. Those, you know, John C. Maxwell.
Of course.
Like those kind of books I've read really early on, before I even knew I wanted to get into real estate. And then when I got into real estate, it's like it just connected. Like it was like, wow, it was true then, and it's even more true now.
I love it. So, Yvette, in my mentorship program, in addition to having my all-state agency, I coach other agents. One of the main things I teach is about networking. And having you guys here is the fruits of networking. You know, Absolutely. We met, you've invited me to events, you've had me speak at LIBOR, you've had me speak at first-time homebuyer seminars, and a variety of things. And we've sent people to each other. I'm going to ask you off real estate first and come back to how important is networking. One of the things I saw in your bio was your role in Jack and Jill and how you raised your twins and that. Talk to me about that community networking and how important was Jack and Jill, and educate people if they're not familiar with Jack and Jill about what that's about.
Okay. So Jack and Jill is a national organization of mothers who came together to help build a community for their children as well as the communities that they reside in. So I served as treasurer as well as vice president of our Queens chapter. For me, what it was is, as I mentioned, I lived in Sugar Hill in Harlem.
Yes.
And after moving to Queens, I had a couple of acquaintances and a few cousins, but I'm the second to youngest cousin in the family.
Okay.
So everyone's children were adults. So I really didn't have a good network to click into. And the mothers in Jack and Jill are dynamic women. So you have attorneys, anything you could think of in any profession. We're usually at the top of our game, even in education. We have deans of universities. Most of us are the first of whatever it is that we're doing. And it's great. So we get to network locally as well as nationally at conventions. And our children had the opportunity to do the same. So now my twins, my daughter, Christina, she's at Xavier University of Louisiana.
Nice.
Pre-med, I don't know why she declared that freshman year, but she's loving it to the point where she tutors a few people in biology. So already, so God is good. And my son Jacob, he's at Delaware State University. Both are HBCUs, and his major is aviation.
I love it. I love it. Congratulations on both and the power of networking. How has that played into you in real estate? So when you have people that are moving to a new community and I'm new to New York, I'm new to this area, that area, how does it play in?
Literally just closed 2 days ago on a house.
Okay.
With Jack and Jill mom who came in. She relocated from another state. She is currently the dean of a large university in the city, first African-American woman.
Nice.
Yes. And she has 3 children.
Wow.
So we were able to assist her in relocating. She's now moved her membership into the Nassau chapter for Jack and Jill.
Excellent.
Her children are attending the school my children attended, all the way down to she has locks. She goes to my loctician that my son goes to. You know, so
she's locked
let's
in.
go.
She's literally
locked in.
So it's, as Eystone mentioned, it's not just selling the house, you're selling the life, right?
Yes.
And you have to hear the person to know what their vision is. But if it wasn't for Jack and Jill, we definitely wouldn't have connected.
All of those connections. All right, so let's go from the community to the professional networking. In our time knowing each other, I've seen you in different leadership positions, and obviously you're networking and teaching your team about networking as well, because I see Ace everywhere. So if someone's fortunate enough to join your team, how important is it that they have the skills to get out and to network?
If you're not able to get out and network, chances are you're not able to lock in and sell either.
Okay.
Right? So if you, just how Eystone mentioned, if you are looking at a home and I'm walking you through the house and I've never met you before, you know, and I've only done a consultation with you, how am I able to engage with you there if I couldn't even network at, you know, any corporate event? So usually you can sense if someone has that strong suit or not. But honestly, Eystone teaches me how to network because we always say we are the buddy show you never knew you needed, because we're in two different generations. So where my energy wanes sometimes, where I'm like, I'm going home.
Yes.
He'll stay. And, he'll get the phone numbers where I'm like, I'm going to bed.
That's it.
I'm good.
I'm giving what I got. We joked about that. I'm a morning person. I'm a proud member of the 5 a.m. club.
Ooh,
nice.
So that
God
nighttime
bless you.
networking, so when I see you out, when you're coming, I'm usually going. But talk to me about networking and how networking has not only helped you in business, but with the same thing when you have families or people looking to buy in certain communities. How important has networking been for you for that?
I think people, when they see that you are connected, you could never even say a word to them, and then they know who you are before you know who they are.
Yes.
There's power in that.
Yes.
Social media is a great platform for that for a lot of people. And you don't need to have a million followers to be a successful networker, right? So people just need to see you out there. They need to see you active. And a lot of times it's just about having a good time, being comfortable in your own skin, and not being scared to say hello to somebody who, you don't know. And from there, you never know what you might have in common with these people. And I always try to find things in common, try to make jokes, try to, have a good time, because people remember people who make them feel good.
Most importantly, you can say it louder for people in the back. People don't remember what you said, what you did, but they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
Maya Angelou.
Love it. That's it. How did it feel winning YPN top 20 under 40? Is that right?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It was an amazing feeling. It went from just wanting to be in real estate to wanting to actually make money.
Yes.
To, oh snap, we're winning an award.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where even now when I think about it, I'm still a little bit like in shock, and definitely appreciative. And then to be able to get behind the award in the sense of being a part of putting it all together for the future generations coming after me, that in itself was another big, milestone moment for me. So I'm very proud of a lot of the work we've done with the Young Professionals Network, especially this year, but in the last 11 years. So it's something that, I never envisioned myself. I remember being in the room and not knowing anybody.
Right.
Absolutely not even one person.
So stay here for a second.
Yeah.
How does that feel? I did this. One of my partners, y'all know him well, also Elmer, Carlos Salinas.
Oh yeah.
I took my guy Carlos Los. What up?
Yeah. TST. What up?
I took Carlos to a networking event with me early in the game. It was I was sponsoring Long Island Nets at the time.
Okay.
Los got 2 tickets. Fuego de Chao. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Give me
Fuego de Chao.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for the correction. Thank you for the cleanup. And we pull up. We meet at the event, the parking lot. We walk in. And I did no preparation. Los is good. He talked. I'm like, Los, okay. We're in the event. It's about 50, 60 people in the room. I'm going to go to the left and meet everybody this way. You go to the right and meet every people that way. And he's told the story later. Like, what, Kev? You just dropped me off right here? So, love you, Los. Love you, Los. But that moment of not knowing anybody, how'd you crack through that and just start extending your hand and meeting people?
I'm from Jamaica, Queens.
Okay, say that.
Like, it's nothing that I don't get intimidated by stuff very
Queens
easily.
get the money.
Yeah, so I just looked at that as an opportunity to conquer something.
Okay.
And conquer the room.
Okay.
And that's how I look at it in any room that I go into. And it was one of those things where as you do the work, people start to hear about you. Because you can go to all the networking events you want, right? But if you're not doing the work, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? So do the work, go to the events, say hello, shake hands, kiss babies.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then as you do that, you create a momentum.
Yes.
And then you can ride that momentum. And I think that's kind of where we are right now.
I love it. When you said you're from Jamaica, it made me realize I didn't ask you where you grew up at. From Jamaica?
Yeah.
Let me see how my memory's working this morning. Hillcrest and Christ the King?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And Jamaica High.
And Jamaica High. All of the above. What generated the transfers? Were you playing ball? Was it sports? Was it academics?
I wish. I do. But no, it wasn't. I was I was a totally different person at that time. I was getting into a lot of trouble.
I got you.
Hanging out with the wrong people.
I got you.
And I had to clean my act up, which, it was a process. So ended up going through summer school, night school, trying to play catch up, you know. And playing catch up so much that I finally feel like at a point in my life, I got to the point where I feel like I'm ahead.
I love it.
So
builds character.
Yeah.
Trust me, I understand. Every experience is a good experience because nothing that we go through is about us.
Absolutely.
It's always about helping the next person. So we talked a little bit about LIBOR. We talked about Jack and Jill. Let's talk about the market. Let's talk about the cycle that we've been through. Let's take the roller coaster. Yvette, take me from the roller coaster, the top of it in 2020, rocking and rolling. Take me through the dip and the high interest rates, and take me to where we are today. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Do it.
So the best of times and the worst, right? Literally, right? So all in one, we were shut down for COVID.
Yes.
I ironically was in a Jack and Jill meeting when we received the notice that the city was shutting down, and I started crying.
Wow.
I honestly thought it was the end of my business. What am I going to do? What's my pivot? Honestly, prayed about it, and the next day I called Ace and I said I have some ideas.
Let's go.
And we actually we use Zoom.
Yes.
We started practicing with our relatives since everyone was at home held hostage.
Family meetings, all of it.
So we would have fake open houses online with our relatives.
Are you
practicing.
serious?
Yeah.
Get your reps up.
Yep. And then my son helped us create our sign-in forms.
Okay.
Right. We became contactless.
Okay.
Learned how to create QR codes.
Okay.
Now all the restaurants do it, but we were doing it prior to the restaurants doing it. So we figured out how to show homes in 2 weeks, and we started closing on everything because as we were the thing we always said was during the shutdown, life is still going to move forward, sadly, even if people are transitioning out of it, right? And no matter where interest rates are, it's the same thing. Life is going to keep, as everyone always says, lifing.
It moves on without us. So Yvette, one of my programs I teach is Think and Grow Digital. So you said 3 things right there that I got to dial in on. First, you panic. Real estate as we know it, you can't show houses. I'm a networker. A month before COVID, you had me speak at LIBOR right on the border of Queens, like in the Little Neck area, 1 month before, February 2020. But you said in that pivot, I got ideas. I heard Zoom. I heard your son creating a contact form and QR codes and practice with the team, virtual, all digital.
Yes.
So I can't go outside. You can't walk me through the bedrooms, but you showed me stuff. So let's stay right there. But Ace, pick it up. Where does social media pick up in 2020? How were you showing houses and telling stories through IG and other places?
That's where Eystone became real estate all day every day.
That's a fact. Yeah, no, it really was the only place where you could connect with people at that point. So in order to do that, you have to create some content.
Yes.
And if we're doing everything on Zoom already anyway, you hit that record button and then you just upload it. And I think if you stop caring about what you look like, what you sound like, what you didn't say, what you should have said, and you just do it, you just get better at it. And then people are not judging you as harshly as you're judging yourself.
No.
You know what I mean? So if they see you have a video, if they see you doing something, even if it's not in their market, they're like, well, wait a minute, he's doing this, maybe he could help me over here.
Yeah.
And before you know it, people are reaching out because they see you're active.
Yeah. And that means the world, you are in motion. It's proof positive. Ace is really in real estate because you posted something. I got to be honest with you. Insurance agents that I coach to get involved in social media, I model a lot of real estate. I said, listen, you got to connect with realtors. Realtors post listings, closings, open houses. Make some friends, like some statuses, comment, be there for them, and build a relationship. So, Ace, let's stay digital for a second. We talked a little bit about AI offline.
Yeah.
Fast forward in digital. Tell me how you're using AI. You told me a good story.
Yeah. Oh, well, going back to that, last night we're working on virtual staging for some of our listings. And, looking at different ways to go about virtual staging. We like to do things in-house. So all of our marketing that you see online, we do it ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being ahead of new technology in order to make it easier for us because we're trying to be busy selling houses.
Yes.
it's all about learning what the new tech is and making sure that you figure out how can it work for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And AI is in a lot of things people don't even know.
Yes.
And it's been in a lot of things that people don't know. So they go, I'm not using AI yet. It's like, you are. You just don't know you are, but you've been using it. Yeah. So last night was trying to figure out how we can go about virtual staging, and we found an app that we're gonna look at that uses AI to stage for you, and it does everything from the furniture combinations to matching things with the rug and the table with the sofa. So that's something that literally virtual staging, if you're doing it one by one, dragging things over, it could take you an hour.
Okay.
With the AI, it takes you 5 minutes, and you got a whole listing done.
Bang.
Yeah.
AI jewel right there. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Yvette, I'm going to date myself. I bought 2 houses in my life. One I lived in Chicago, one when I came back home to New York. Both houses I found in a magazine.
Oh, wow.
In Chicago, it was a local community magazine called What's Happening. And really going to date myself when I tell you the price. They're having low-cost houses, low percentage down, right what I needed at a young age.
Right.
I come back to New York, and we're trying to figure out where to live. So we pick it up in a magazine in the store, and we find a house. Fast forward to today, everything is online pretty much. I would imagine in all your efforts, none of it is...
Actually,
correct me. Stand corrected. Educate me.
We also still use print. We advertise probably once a quarter in Queen's Properties magazine.
Okay.
And they usually have kiosks near supermarkets or in high density shopping areas.
Okay.
So we get a good 2 or 3 listings a year out of that. So it's money well spent.
It's money well spent.
Surprisingly,
so
right?
that still community visibility still matters.
Right.
Another jewel right there, and it also blends in with social because you have the name and the face recognition, and now I'm shopping and I see you.
Right.
So we're doing both. Perfect blend of marketing in both worlds.
And to your point on that one, we had an open house on a home in Addersley Park.
Okay.
Where a friend of Monica lived.
Okay.
And I was selling her home, and a family from the Bronx came to meet me because they saw my ad in Queen's Property, and they asked me to help them purchase a home in the Bronx. So they lived in the Bronx, came to Queens because they saw me in a magazine to help them purchase in the Bronx.
And that's not the first time that's happened.
And without your visibility, it establishes you as what I call a local celebrity influencer. You said that you don't need 1 million followers. You need a few people.
Yeah.
Just the good ones.
Just the good
ones.
I love that. I love that. Just the good ones.
Right?
You don't have time for the time wasters?
No.
Take me all over. I want to live in the Bronx, Harlem, Brooklyn, Queens. Ooh,
There's
easy.
power in no.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes they just need assistance in refining their thoughts and expectations.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. We talked about the past. How is the market today? Is it a good time to buy a home?
Anytime that you are looking to buy a home is the right time to purchase your home, honestly. I always say your budget matters more than even the interest rate, right?
Okay.
Because interest rates are fluid.
Yes.
So even, for example, the home we just closed on 2 days ago.
Okay.
They had a interest rate of 5.8.
Okay.
So now people will say, oh my God, that's high.
Mm-hmm.
However, prior to COVID, we were in the 6s.
Yes.
Right. So everyone got used to 2-3%.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a sustainable number. So realistically, if you're not paying attention to, honestly, the propaganda in the news,
Yes,
the interest rates are not that bad right now.
Right.
And even if you closed at a higher one, if it was your time to purchase,
Mm-hmm.
you can always refi later on and get a better rate lock. So, any time is the right time. It's almost like the stock market. Everyone panics and they'll say, oh my God, my stocks went down. I'm losing money. No, you didn't. You weren't selling them today anyway.
that's right.
Right.
That's right.
So if you're holding on to those shares, it doesn't matter what the value is until you're ready to sell. So
Love it. I love it. You're going to expand. You're going to add something to the market?
Oh, no, I was just agreeing. I mean, I will say this. When it comes to the business side, for people that are in the business, this is a huge shifting period because, as we know, the way we're doing business has changed and it continues to change. There's more laws that we have to follow. There's a shift in how you can work with a buyer. They have to sign an agreement with you. And that really is going to differentiate the people that are going to be here for the next 10, 15, 20 years.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of people who don't like the way the business is going to go now, and they're going to leave.
Ace, I love it. In fact, you said something earlier. You talked about starting with 85 calls a day. In New York, real estate, mortgage, insurance, we're all affected by the same do not call.
Yeah.
So that's another key pivot change. How have you guys adjusted to pivot away from being unable to call to help people? That's what kills me about it. People need our help. They need all of our services, but we can't call them. So how have you guys pivoted away from being unable to call for going on five years now?
Yeah.
Well, one is advocacy.
Okay.
So through Long Island Board of Realtors, Eystone is the chair of government affairs next year.
Vice chair,
next year. I'm a member of that committee. So what we have the privilege of is going to Albany on lobby day and speaking directly to representatives to tell them your constituents look, right? Your constituents are hurting, right? They need to be able to make those calls. We should not fall under any state of emergency that has to do with gun laws.
Yeah.
One has nothing to do with the other. So that's one way, through advocacy. The other one is, as we mentioned, our online platform is really strong. Almost any website you go to, you'll see us there, and on some level in real estate and networking. And luckily, I would say the blessing for us is, for example, last year, a woman called me to sell her home. And I'm thinking, it's the power of Element, which obviously is a powerful company.
Of course.
I was on the phone with her for about an hour and a half, just discussing everything. And at the end of the call, she said, by the way, what company do you work with? She didn't even know.
Wow.
Right. So that's when we knew, okay, all the money we've spent, all the effort and energy we've put into making sure our presence has been strong everywhere else is paying off.
Your brand. Because
Absolutely.
people are buying, it goes back to what you said earlier, Ace, about people are buying you. As much as I'm buying the house within my budget, I'm also buying you because I'm trusting you. And the education and information that you guys provide is priceless. Not everybody that's looking to buy a house is some happy couple with ideal budget. When you talk about the elderly and
the cream puff deals,
there's no cream puffs. I mean, on the insurance side of the world, I find myself in conversations with a lot of families housed in transition. Somebody passed away, and now you're inheriting it.
Yes,
and you have no idea what's going on. So how much time is spent in educating those type of consumers that are just accidentally, suddenly I'm here. I was living here, but now I have to become a homeowner. I have to be responsible, or I have to sell because I'm no longer in New York. What's that process like for you guys?
Well, I could say this. We like to focus on people who need our services, not people who want our services.
Ooh.
Because... Not to say that we don't want people that want us,
right?
But the people who need us, they appreciate you a little bit differently because they understand the value that you're bringing. You're making their life easier, and they know that every single day. So they treat you in a different manner because they really appreciate what you're doing for them. So death, divorce, it might be something being passed down to a generation. It might be a social situation, a family situation. Those are the things that we like because we can really bring real value. We can really help people. So I think if you focus on that, of course, you're going to always have a way to do business. Whether there's COVID, whether there's a pandemic, it doesn't matter. People that need to move, they're going to move.
I would say the same thing. Death, divorce, all changes. Businesses based in Queens. We deal with a lot of first-generation people, a lot of first-generation homeowners.
Yeah.
What's that experience like? Because when you say need your service, that's what triggered that thought.
Yeah.
How important is that in that space where you are, you said it with Jack and Dill, you're first, you're only, you're different. First, FODs, coined the phrase, it's not mine. So how important is that education? Either one of you, both, you can talk about those first-generation people that are buying houses.
I'll give you the best example. Well, not best, but it will be a sale, actually, that we have a family where a grandmother moved into a home in Queens. And when she passed away, a grandchild moved into the home. The grandchild did not pay taxes.
Oh.
They did not take care of the property to the point where it's condemned.
Oh.
Right. No will. So I get the phone call, Yvette, can you help me?
Yes.
And Eystone and I have been helping them ever since. It's going on 1.5 years now. Almost to your point about COVID, right? For example, being most first don't have wills or trusts in place, those homes are now starting to come onto the market because it takes about 2 years to clear probate.
Yes.
Which means that the estate has taken care of all of the business, and the last thing left to do is to dissolve the real estate holdings.
Yes.
And we've been getting so many calls on those, and those are the first, right? It's their first time owning because they inherited. They are not sure what to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, online, I know there's this whole campaign about don't sell Big Mama's house. However, if you can't afford to maintain Big Mama's house, take the money and run, honestly, and invest in something that you're more comfortable with and able to handle.
There's some conversations. I think it's John Bryant, one of the reels I see online, that's encouraging families to have meetings once a month to talk about how things work.
Yeah.
This is the mortgage. This is the taxes. This is the oil. This is the lights. This is what it costs us to live here. These are things, just conversations to encourage. But for context, the value of these homes, people are watching this countrywide, some internationally.
Right.
Give value to a home like that in our area that's just in balance, and how much Big Mama's house might be worth.
I'll give you on that same property. They purchased, I want to say, around $70,000 30 years ago, 40 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. And now we're selling it condemned 1.2.
All right, so say it for the back. Purchased 30 or 40 years ago for
around 40.
40,000. Now worth 1.2 million.
Correct.
Capital M.
Capital M, big M.
Yes.
And here you made a recommendation. You're not selling this. You don't do wills and trusts. I don't do wills and trusts. But that simple conversation with some very good attorneys that we both know could really put the family business in order. So take that as a jewel from this as well. Yes. So I think we've touched a lot. I think I've asked you about all the organizations you are a part of. That before I come to the next thing, are you part of any organizations that I didn't ask about?
I'm also the treasurer for Addersley Park Civic Association, which is my neighborhood where I live. It's historically landmarked, about 432 homes in the area. A lot of jazz artists used to live in the neighborhood.
Drop some names.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Say that.
Duke Ellington.
Say that.
Cab Calloway.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Lena Horne. Goodness, I'm forgetting.
A lot of athletes too.
The one who used to wear the flower in her hair, Billie Holiday. Yes. Okay.
So I know Queens pretty good, but as you say that name, I don't have a reference. What might I know this area as?
The VA hospital on Linden Boulevard. Is it far from there?
I got it. Yeah, not too far from Rosedale. Not too far from.
About 15 minutes away from Rosedale. Close to St. Albans.
I got it. So I know. I got it. Okay. I love it. Okay. What organization didn't I ask about?
I'm also a member of my community board. We're both members of the Queens Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And we're probably gonna forget some other ones too. It's a lot.
NAREP.
It's a lot. Not a member of NAREP, but know a lot of people there.
Yeah.
We were. That was
early
about,
on.
6 years ago, approximately. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've just been a little busy.
I'm busy. I'm tired of just listening to everything y'all doing. Y'all doing some wonderful work. Anything you would like to share that I didn't ask about? Anything coming up? First time home buyer seminars, open houses, anything you want to plug?
We got to get another home buyer seminar going on. That's what we got to do.
Say when.
Yeah.
Say when.
This 2025, first
Say
quarter.
Say when. In person or virtual.
In person.
Whatever you want to do.
Prefer.
People in the place. There's so much information.
Yeah.
Would love to be in a room with you guys.
Absolutely.
With the buyers, the education. That was one of the things I remember that we did, and it was really, really good. Priceless to be there, and for families listening to it, if we touched any part of your heart, from the first-time home buyer all the way to someone that's inheriting a home and not sure what to do, ladies and gentlemen, these are people I want you to talk to. Please shout out your socials. Tell them where they can find you at, online, digitally, everywhere.
Yes, Ace is my realtor. On all platforms.
Yvette C. Watkins on Instagram, Yvette Watkins on Facebook.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Put it in the comments one time. Yvette Clark Watkins. Ace is my realtor, Eystone Perez.
Thank you.
Thank you.